Inside the Game, back live across your airwaves here on the National Soccer Network. Back at it, Nate Wangler and Ryan Glinsky. Our big thanks to Tanner White showing up yesterday, filling in for me while I was up and tucked away in the middle of the practically the middle of the state of Michigan. Not quite, but backing
The
away
middle
in
of
a cabin
nowhere.
back there in
There
the
ain't
middle of
nothing over
nowhere,
there.
quite literally. But back at it
Nate
here
doesn't like
today.
people.
I do, but I think everybody has their leash.
Real
I'll
quick,
comment right out of the gate.
Fabian,
What do we got?
he says, I don't miss your show. I'm in my son's honor roll celebration in school while listening to your show. Shout out.
Hey,
Shout out.
don't.
Shout out.
Hey man,
Shout out your son. Getting good grades.
don't miss any important announcements or anything else they got going on in there just because you're listening to us. That wouldn't.
No, yeah, listen
wouldn't
to
be the
us.
way.
I'm sure they're talking about nothing. There's probably
exactly.
some principal that's probably like, oh my God, we love our students so much. No.
Yeah, that's fair. Yep. Some long-winded speech about something. I've never been to a graduation ceremony that has not gone way longer than it's needed to. Like it is, some of them can be really bad. Mostly if it's like high school too, and you got like 50 kids that are graduating. Like, why is this process as long as it is? I've been to
because everyone's got
a graduation
speak. It's so annoying.
That's fair. Yeah, I guess. But like I went to a graduation at like for Grand Valley State, for example. In like Grand Valley State, for those of you who don't know, is the size of a Division I school from an attendance perspective, but is just not a Division I school by title. Like they should be a MAC school with how big they are, but they just aren't. I don't know, but their graduation ceremonies, they literally have to phase it over like an entire weekend. And there's like a morning, a noon, and an evening, which is not unique to like a college. And like, I don't know how it looked for you at Central Michigan with walking across the stage. Oh, you didn't go to it? You didn't walk?
No, I told
Really?
my parents. So the thing is last year it was on a Saturday at 5:00 in the evening. I tell my parents and I'm like, I'd rather just go to the bar and hang out with you guys rather than walk across the stage. I did it in high school. It's really, I don't really care for it. I've always thought graduation ceremonies are stupid. And it was.
You think everything's stupid.
I was like, it's stupid. I think it's boring. I think it's pointless. And I was like, guys, what if I walked across my porch at my college house? And they're like, sounds good.
Okay.
All right. And then my mom was
All
like,
right.
well, I just need graduation, like senior photos or something. I'm like, this is kind of stupid. But then I texted
course.
one of my photography friends. I'm like, how much does it cost? And I think it was like $75 or something. And we happened to go inside the basketball arena, McGurk Arena at Central, where the graduation ceremony was happening. And we happened to go there while everything's set up. So I'm like, could you just take photos of me walking across the stage here? Like, no one's here anyway. No one would know the difference in like 10 years. I'll probably just tell them, yes, that I did actually walk across the stage. So there's pictures of me walking across the stage. And then, so I was supposed to graduate the same time as my cousin. And he actually went to the graduation ceremony because he was in 2020. And, obviously they didn't get a graduation. And my aunt, his mom was like, you better walk or whatever. Like, we didn't get it in high school. And then my other cousin who's hanging out with us texts me. He's like, yo, he already walked. What are you guys up to? Like, I want to get out of here. And I'm like, yeah, we're at the bar. It's like a 30-minute walk from you. He's like, all right, I'm on my way. Stops in my house, takes a couple on the road, and then walks back. And yeah, no, it was I think graduation ceremonies are rather dumb. That's just my opinion, though.
It's funny you say that, and I got mine in high school. So I got the pleasure of doing that, which I guess for like for the purposes of feeling accomplished, it's like it's almost like a sending off. You know what I mean? It's like we're gonna talk about the United States men's national team roster reveal. It kind of had a feeling of that. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you've worked for the last 4 years to get to this point. Congratulations. Let's go play in the World Cup. Let's go get them. That's what the feeling of high school had.
Let's
college
go get
one's
'em.
kind of sad. College one's kind of sad because you're like, oh, okay, well, here you go. Here's the real world. Have fun.
You're
know
probably
what I mean?
hungover. You're probably just,
I hope you soaked up all the fun for the last 4 years, because really beyond this point, it's all, bills and, you lose friends and people move away. And no, I'm just kidding. It's not all doom and gloom, but No, I didn't get mine in college because of 2020. So I didn't get to do mine. Mine was a digital walk, which I refused to do. I just didn't do it in general. So yeah, it can certainly be for vanity and other purposes, but no, interesting. That tracks that you didn't want to walk, that you thought that was stupid. That's
Yeah, no, I did not have a. My parents are like okay with it though. I was really surprised that they were actually okay with it. And my dad was
mm,
like, that was so much fun. And I was like, I know, because we didn't sit in a crammed gym and listen to people that we don't even
yep,
know existed until that moment and we'll never see again.
yep,
So,
yep.
yeah.
And you knew mom wanted pictures too, so at least you gave her the benefit of getting the pictures at the very least. But let's get into the soccer conversation here. We got obviously the USL2 USLW games of the week. We'll talk about those here a little bit later on. But for now, obviously we know, Ryan, the biggest story in soccer in the United States
Hold
is that
on, hold
yesterday
on,
the US.
hold on. We're
Okay,
skipping over
all
a
right.
couple of things. We got to throw up some highlight videos of one of our NIL athletes and
Mm.
Fabian's son. That's what I was talking with Fabian because I couldn't download his
Oh,
videos, but so I was able to
okay.
get two of the three in Fabian. But we're gonna start
All
off
right.
with Lily Jekyll here, our NIL athlete. We talked about the USLW. You were talking about that there's a 13-year-old playing for Midwest United. I said that there was like I think 15-year-old last year. But Lily Jekyll is actually a high school junior right now at Lake Orion High School, and is playing in the USLW currently for Detroit City FC. And this was in the 90th minute. They put all the weight on her shoulders and delivers a PK in the 90th, I think, +3. I think that's what the minute was. But she delivers. She's an amazing talent. She's currently committed to the Fighting Irish in Notre Dame. But yeah, no, Lily Jekyll with an unbelievable PK to put all the weight on her shoulders was really impressive.
Yeah, that's my bad. I thought that was from. I thought that was something you guys discussed a little bit earlier. No, that I saw that coming in. The truth is she has an NIL deal with us here at the National Soccer Network. I know we've talked in length about what she can provide, and the truth is if you're one of the brightest young players in the United States, which is something that we have mentioned in that we've seen from her in her time, not only in high school but what she's done at the club level, you got to be the one that steps up in those moments. You have to be the one that steps up when they need you the most. And so to do it in front of that crowd, I thought it was interesting that she had mentioned that that's the most people that she's ever had a PK in front of. The nerves in that moment, it can be palpable, but fought through it and got the job done. So it's good to see her doing what she's doing, and that Great Lakes division is shaping up to be a fun one on down the stretch. So we'll see what happens the rest of the way.
Luckily, Dave picked it out, but he goes playing against a fast food place, a fast food team. Yeah, I didn't even see KFC. I don't even know. I don't even know the name of the team that she played. But yeah, no, KFC. Yeah, she played against Kentucky Fried Chicken. Is what I would say. But yeah, no, great stuff from Lily. And speaking of great play and everything, and obviously the honor roll student, Fabian's son. I think finished up his season this past weekend, scoring a bunch of goals like normal. We got a couple clips from him. I know, yeah, because we obviously didn't get. I couldn't download the full video, but I mean that's wow. I haven't seen the highlights, Fabian. So yeah, no, pretty awesome there. I mean, some great clips, some great finishes. And yeah, shout out. I think his season is done. We'll have to have Fabian reach. He's also a good student, everyone. He is currently getting his honor roll certificate, or I don't know what they get for all that stuff, but in awards. But yeah, no, shout out to all the highlights this past weekend.
Did he just bend that one in top bins? Did I just see that?
The second one, honestly, I don't know what happened.
I mean, look.
I think so. I think he did.
My man just bent that in top bins.
Yeah,
ain't no way you're gonna go up and get that one.
Yeah,
all right, smart kid, man. Realizes he's playing against a goalie who's like 2 foot tall. He can't jump up there and save that. That's brilliant, man. Puts it in top shelf.
Yeah,
no,
he's
that's
tall.
Great, man. I was seeing some of the highlight. He sent me some of those too, and I was watching them actually in the middle of a baseball game that I had. But I was like, that's impressive. I like that. So no, good on your son, and obviously being a good student. That's most important, right? Get the grades. It's what they always tell you.
Student before the athlete.
Student before the athlete. There you go. See, you're on top of it.
That means so much nowadays, especially in college athletics.
Yeah. But
how did
does...
Sonny Styles, or was it Arvell Reese, who had like a 1-point GPA in high school, all of a sudden get a 4.3 GPA at Ohio State? Yeah, I'm sure he did all of his homework there. I mean,
well, once you get to that level, they have tutors, aka we'll do your homework for you. We'll turn it in
maybe
for
if
you.
Kevin hops in, I know he was in the second live stream yesterday for the roster reveal. And I should ask him. I was like, so do the Ohio State football athletes actually do their homework? Just curious.
Hey, Fabian. Yeah. I mean, just turn him into a good soccer player, and then he doesn't have to worry about grades anymore. It's pro soccer players don't have to worry about algebra. So I'm just saying.
That's true.
But anyways, let's get into on the other side. Let's take a quick break. We'll mix a quick one in here because I know we're probably going to be long-winded talking about the roster and everything else, as well as our good friend Neil Kennedy, who just missed the cut. We'll get his opinion on the other side. First, let's talk about FC Bayern summer soccer camps, though. A proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network, fostering football excellence across North America, open to boys and girls of all skill levels. FC Bayern camps deliver elite training inspired by FC Bayern Munich's world-class philosophy. Select your city and start a promising soccer path. Right now, save $30 on registration by using promo code Bayern NSN30. Again, that's Bayern NSN30, or scan the QR code on your screen. Learn more at FCBayernYouth.com.
So the dream behind Irene's was simply to be a place where the community could come and gather. This is my hometown, we're raising our family here, and we just want to be a space where people can come together as a community and share a great meal. We've got golf simulators, we got pinball, live music, trivia nights, but we also have fresh, always homemade, locally sourced food, and we serve it with a sense of Gemütlichkeit. This is a German word that conveys a sense of warmth and coziness and belonging. We're excited to show off how we're growing and that this is the place to be.
And we welcome you back inside the game 294 here on the National Soccer Network, live across Roku and YouTube here today. As always, give us a follow, Sports Nation. That's sports
and
with
Instagram,
a
TikTok.
Z.
Don't forget those two.
Instagram, TikTok. As always, also give us a follow, National Soccer Network, on social media as well. Ryan, the biggest news, again, in American soccer, as I was saying a little bit earlier, right now is the World Cup roster reveal. It seemed like a bit of a buzzkill, I guess, in a way, because the entire thing was leaked before we even had this event yesterday. So we already kind of knew who was going to be on the list. And so, I thought maybe that was going to be a quick one. I thought maybe someone released it and we're like, all buying into it. No, actually, it turns out these guys aren't on the roster. I thought maybe it would be a quick 180. It was not. It was pretty much exactly what it was leaked. But one of the biggest snubs on the roster, before we get into anybody else, and I know we want to talk about Diego Luna and Gio Reyna, and, what's going on with Christian Roldan and Cardoso not being selected and all these other things. I want to get into what's going on. Aiden Morris, that was left off. I want to get into all that. But before we get to that, there was one player that was left off the list that I was shocked was not included in the plans. That is our good friend Neil Kennedy.
Yeah,
who was left off the list, and little shocked by that. I believe he had something to say about it after the news broke that he was not a part of the roster.
If you're watching this video, my name is Neil Kennedy, and I'm telling you right now, congrats to the boys who made the U.S. Men's National Team World Cup squad. Didn't happen for me this time, but this changes nothing, because after the World Cup, I'll be announcing which team I'm signing for.
shout out. Oh, hey, Nate, by the way, we got LeBron James Jr. in the TikTok chat who just said, finally, my algorithm showing me good lives. Soccer. And he just followed us on TikTok. Shout out you, LeBron. Shout out LeBron James Jr.
Hey,
didn't
all
know
right,
didn't know Bronny was a fan of soccer.
LeBron's actually got another kid out there. Is LeBron James Jr. So
And
he's a
then
big
we
fan of the
have,
National Soccer Network.
Tarekna says your friend Kennedy is weak. Yeah, I would say so. How LeBron and Yo. Or Ronaldinho, so LeBron. Yeah, I guess that's how it works.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sure.
But yeah, no, Neil
Yeah, sure
Kennedy.
thing.
We will get to LeBron or Bronny. We will get to Diego Luna, but Neil Kennedy. I mean, come on now. Should have been on the roster. Should have made it. He dedicated so much
man.
hard work. My favorite part is he's been saying he's going to join a team for the last 6 months. He's like, yeah, I'm going to be on I'll tell you what team I'm on. I feel like with the season starting up, Neil, maybe you'd already been on a team. I'm just saying. Maybe.
Yep.
But
Yep. You know, the art of building suspense is something that is that some people really use to their advantage, and he may never join a team. There may be
Probably
a
not.
world in which he never joins a team, and we're just kind of left hanging here. But the reality is that we're all going to continue to go back and watch his videos. Now, I think it's funny. I think the fact that he's, kind of taken the soccer world by storm here in the United States has been hilarious to watch on many fronts. But I will say this, the fitness journey side of it is actually pretty cool. Like, whatever it
Sure.
takes for you to get up and push yourself and physically, bring yourself to a point to where you are exhausted and you're sweating and you're doing all those things. Like, I'm all for that. Like, I'm all for whatever excuse, whatever it is that you want to use to get yourself up and get yourself moving. I'm good for it. Also, putting yourself out there is a hard thing to do. So, it's funny. It's like he's almost like opened himself up to this criticism, these people saying these things about him, but he doesn't really care. Like, he realizes, much like we do, that even those negative things are still feeding the algorithm. They're still bringing people back to us. They're still bringing back to our clips and back to our show. Even so much to the fact that if you comment on a video, and I don't think people realize this is why, people will leave comments on videos that they want to come back to, because when you do that, the algorithm will show you more of that content, right? So it's just, he's created this storm for himself. So if it was all just for a fitness thing, then hey man, more power to you. More power to you. But I don't know. I just think I think it's
He was
funny
snubbed,
because I
man.
saw a
He was
couple
like-
of
what a great
I
player.
saw a couple of signs yesterday that
He
that
had no
said,
weak
that
foot.
said, "Where's Neil Kennedy?"
He had no weak foot. This comment coming in from Alexander Mantooth. Neil Kennedy versus Danny Rojas in the USL. That'd be an unbelievable social media game.
Ooh,
Social media would go
Ooh.
crazy for that game.
it's a PR
They'd be
dream.
like all over. That might be like ESPN coverage of a USL champion. That might be a nationally televised game. That's what it's basically what it would be. Everyone would be like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
we love this game." So yeah, no. But Neil Kennedy snubbed
Oh,
from
man.
the U.S. men's
But
national team
anyways.
roster. Who got done dirty more, Diego Luna or Neil Kennedy?
That's the question. I think both, man. I think they would have been a great combo to be on the pitch together, to be honest with you. Talk about a spark plug off the bench. Can't get any
He
better
doesn't
than
have a
Neil
weak foot.
Kennedy and Diego Luna. I'll tell you
He
what.
does
that's what I'm
not have a
saying,
weak foot.
man. You see those empty pitches that he's practicing on, that he hits all these shots on?
My
It's-
favorite,
it's-
my
it's
favorite one
crazy.
is when he puts the net up as a wall and tries to curl it over, or he's like, "I will play for the U.S. men's national team," and it's like, For sure, man. For sure. Hey, but if he's doing it to get himself fitter, for sure. Shout out that. But I mean,
I like the dedication, man. That's all I'm saying. Like
my
he
favorite
clearly
is when he's
seems like
talking about like, I have more dedication than all these players. Like, wow, I'm 20 something and you're 18 and you're not working as hard as me. Sorry, you're cooked, dude. Come on now, just relax a little bit. Just relax.
Hey, but I mean, the man's got a point. Like, we're gonna get into the Diego Luna conversation here in a second, but that's part of the reason why people love Diego Luna as much as they did, was because of that. Because it did genuinely seem like you wanted to be out there, which again, I think is more than maybe we can say for some of the other players. Maybe on this roster, maybe not on this roster. There's some that have obviously decided to go different directions. But let's get into the roster conversation here. Yeah, we got to start off with the obvious one. The one that's been floating around everywhere.
Bronny just said, we beat Paraguay 2-1. We beat Australia 1-0. And just because we're at home, we're going to beat Turkey 3-2. If not, we tie Turkey, but I see us going undefeated in the group stage. That's rather bold. I think we finished second in the group behind Turkey. That's just my personal opinion. But hey, I'm open to anything happening. I will say I think we do take care of business against Paraguay and Australia. I think we go 2-1. I think we lose to Turkey, and I think we will beat Australia and Paraguay. That's my personal opinion. But yeah, no, Diego Luna.
Yeah.
So sad.
Taylor Twellman, said that yesterday. I mean, he said that the quarters was the expectation. And if they finish first in the group, there's clearly a path there. We've mentioned that. Like, it is open for them to play one of the third place finishers in one of the other groups and get to the quarters. And again, winning two elimination games is that thing that we talked about that we have never done before. I wouldn't say never, but like, you got to go back to like the Stone Ages to find the last time that we did win a couple of elimination games and make a deep run like
40s,
that.
I think.
Yes. Yeah. 40s, 30s.
Whenever we finished, it had to have been the 30s or the 40s.
Yeah, the miracle on the pitch or whatever they called it. Grass, sorry.
1930 would be the last time.
Yeah, 30s.
And then we didn't.
Yeah. So
my favorite part is we didn't qualify from 1950 to 1990. We didn't qualify for 40 years. That's pretty
literally
awesome.
40 years. So to win 2 elimination games would be the thing that I think would finally bring people out of their shell and really kind of rally the folks around the U.S. men's national team. I do think there is a popularity there, and I do think people care, and I'll talk about that here in a little bit.
Whoa. Jamal. No. Nick's not in 6. No. Coming from Facebook. So he definitely saw the Facebook post I made yesterday. No. Spurs or Thunder in 5. The West in 5. That's what I will say. Knicks ain't winning nothing.
If it's
Enough
Knicks and
with the
6,
Knicks.
don't come out of your house. Don't come out of your house, okay? Just stay wherever you are.
Man, I got a lot of states mad at me. I originally had the state of Minnesota. That was the first state that got pissed off at me.
Of course. You're just out here rage baiting everybody. Of course. You go after Minnesota, and then you go after Indiana, and now you're going after New York.
Because,
you know what I mean? And the whole South probably hates you for that matter.
I will say I kind of like the Knicks fans, though. I like their videos. I like the videos of them. Go New York, go New York, go New York. Like, I find those so funny. The goal is always to go one round further than last time. I would agree with that, Alex. Bronny, Turkey is very unbalanced. Great mid, subpar attack, inconsistent defense. We have a chance. The Knicks need Danhausen to win. Who's Danhausen? Am I tripping on that? I don't know who Dan.
Unless
you guys might have to help me out on that one. Is it WWE star? I am not a. Oh,
unless
Cavaliers
this is the guy that played
by,
in the.
What?
All right, the guy that played way back then, because I'm not recognizing this name at all.
He's a new WWE star that somehow cursed the Knicks, or uncursed. This is weird. I mean, when the Pistons got knocked out, I stopped paying attention really to all the other stuff. Okay, I did not know about all that.
It would make sense if they were cursed.
Okay,
that would certainly make sense.
Okay, Danhausen is a WWE character, WWE wrestler who cursed the Knicks when they started 0-3 and then uncurse them and curse the Cavs. Okay. Did not know that. Didn't know that was a thing.
All right. All right. So we need this guy to start cursing other teams then.
So we need
where's
Danhausen
the,
to curse Turkey, Paraguay, Australia, and then whatever other teams we play.
And then every other team in the tournament while we're at it. Let's just do
Danhausen
what do they
American?
call
That's the
that?
question.
A seance?
Is Danhausen American?
My guess
Yes,
is if
he
he's
is.
in WWE.
Oh boy, he's born from Detroit. He's from Michigan.
Really?
Yeah, it says he hails from Detroit, Michigan. 1990. Okay. So he's American. We need him to curse the other teams.
So
Let me
clearly
talk
flipping the
to
curse
my
was
dad to get a hold of a great idea. All right, Bronny's going to get us hooked up. He's going to talk to his dad, LeBron, and get things rolling. There we go.
So clearly the curse was flipped because he was pissed about the Pistons series, right? Like
Yeah,
that's
that's
what
why.
that's what it comes down to. All
Yeah.
right, at least we got this guy in our corner. But anyways, at long last, let's get to the Diego Luna conversation. I know you made a video right after it was released, obviously the leak that he would not be on the roster for the U.S. men's national team, and that has been the big talk. And listen, all conspiracy aside, I really just, in my heart of hearts, I just feel bad for someone like Diego Luna. Because while we can't argue that he's anything more than just a bubble player, Ryan, it was the other things that he did that excited a lot of people a summer ago during that Gold Cup run. And is there anything really all that impressive about getting to a Gold Cup final and losing to Mexico? No, probably not, right? There are teams in that mix that even without our best out there, we should be able to handle, and we did. And Diego Luna provided a lot of exciting moments in that. Did he fall shy in the Mexico game, in the Mexico match? Yes. Did he look really impressive in the international windows? No. I mean, he had a couple of moments off the bench, sure. This is not a player that was ever a sure thing whatsoever in my mind or in Mauricio Pochettino's mind. But it was the other things that he did that were so, I guess in some ways, out there compared to what we saw from the other players who either one, elected not to play, or B, really just didn't care to be a part of it, whether or not they were hurt or not, or whether or not they needed a break or not. It just seemed like there was no sense of urgency for players to actually want to be a part of this team, even in a point in time in which we went through some dark times last summer, especially after the Nations League, where it was like we looked around and it's, what do we have? We don't know. There's no fight. There's no guile. There's no grit. There's no other things. Diego Luna provided some of that spark for American fans who just wanted to see this roster give a damn. But what's more, I guess, heart aching for me when it comes to Diego Luna is that I don't know if this shows a lack of media awareness on our end to promote him as much as we did, or if it really was an indication of just how popular he was, because every advertisement, every social media post, I mean, even the kits being debuted, he was in them. He was kind of the poster child, the face, and then he gets left off the roster. I understand this is about what you can do on the pitch. This isn't about, where you've been in social media land or where you've been in the advertisement plans. But I don't know, Ryan. I don't know what your takeaway is on this. Does he deserve to be on the roster? Maybe from a what he can provide perspective. Again, he's on the bubble. But it still hurts a little bit seeing him be a part of all those other things and not getting an opportunity at the end of the day.
I'm just sick and tired of it because this guy was going to ride the bench, and we're upset about a bench guy. I get it. We like the heart. I've played with a bloody nose in soccer, and I never came out of the game. Does that make me tough? I did it at Oakland University. I played with a bloody nose for like 10 minutes, and it finally stopped while I'm walking around the field like this. Does that make me tough? Does that make me tough?
You don't have cool tattoos though, so no.
I don't have the tattoos all over the place. No. I'm just sick and tired of it because the dude wasn't gonna play, and if he was, it was a few minutes. And look, he disappeared in the biggest moments. When I looked at the Gold Cup final, and you're the starter, you're the vocal point, and you disappear for an entire game. That shouldn't happen. If you are supposed to be this player that's going to help elevate the World Cup. Yes, thank you, Fabian. He says, yes, it makes me tough. Appreciate it. I'm glad that makes me tough, Fabian. But no, we can have a conversation of Zendejas versus Luna, sure, but we are just debating bench players that may not play. Like, that's basically what we're debating at this point. There's not a player on this roster that will make us go to the quarterfinals or we're all of a sudden we don't have him, we're going down to the group, we're getting grouped. We don't have a player like that. We don't have Mbappe's, we don't have Yamal's, we don't have Haaland's, we don't have those types of players. But I'm just kind of sick and tired of all. Do I feel bad a little bit? Yeah, because he's in every single thing. Like, when John and I went to, what was it? The Dick's Sporting Goods over, oh gosh, what's it called? Great Lakes Crossing for the Flint, on our way to Flint versus Forward Madison, the first U.S. Open Cup game. That was the first day they put out the kits, the Where's Waldo kits. And all we see is Luna's face. We're like, okay, Luna's on the World Cup roster. Like, that's all right. That's happening. And then we find out it's not. Yeah. That's the only sad part is, like, this dude is the most capped player in the last, I think, 24 months or whatever it is under Pochettino.
Yeah.
And he's played a lot, obviously, and he was in every single. He's even in the World Cup where we magically beat Brazil in the World Cup final. But that's the only thing I feel bad for.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't have done anything for us. Zendejas wouldn't have changed anything for us. And if they do, it's going to be some miraculous 90th minute winner or equalizer or something. But I'm just tired of everyone like, oh my God, I feel so bad for Diego Luna. Dude, he wasn't going to play. So what's the point? The dude wasn't going to play. He wouldn't have changed anything for us. It'd be like, again, it would be like if Jason Tatum was snubbed from the USA gold medal team in the Olympics. Tatum didn't play. Who cares? Tatum won't change anything. Now, if Curry and LeBron didn't play, because I know we got Bronny Jr. in the chat, obviously. Like, if his dad didn't play, yeah, that's a much bigger story. But when these guys are bench players, I don't really care about it. Like, they're bench players. Don't do anything. So, Fabian's already on the Dan house in the stadium curse. We need it. I want Ronaldo Jr., the 2030 Team USA team. Technically, yes, Ronaldo Jr. could play for us. He could technically play for us. But no, it's like, was Luna snubbed? I think so. I would agree. But I'm just sick and tired of it now, because now I'm looking at the Pulisic's, the McKennies, the Adams, the Chris Richards, which, by the way, he is back training with Crystal Palace. It was reported yesterday. And I think today's the Conference League final. I think. Is today the Conference League final? It is. Okay, so he might play today against Rayo in the UEFA Conference League final, but no, he will be good by the World Cup, so we don't have that scare. But no, now I'm just more focused on the starters, who's going to start, the way we're set up. But no, I don't care anymore about this Diego Luna situation. Hey, I would love Pep Guardiola to be our manager 2030 too. I'd love that.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, continuing along the trend of, like, he is the most capped player in that stretch of time that you had mentioned. So it has this sense of, like, you showed up to class every day, you did the work, but you're not getting rewarded for it. The other hard thing is, obviously, he told Mexico no. Like, he did not want to be a part. He chose the U.S. men's national team. And so, to choose the U.S. men's national team and to be as involved as you are, only to not have that spot open for you in the World Cup. Listen, hopefully this makes him a better player. Like, hopefully in the long run, this creates something, a monster, if you will, in Diego Luna, to where he takes that next step. But, the other side of the coin is also talking about Gio Reyna. And
yeah, that's what they're talking about. Alex says it's not the Zendejas Luna debate. It's more of the Reyna Luna debate. He says no, but Reyna makes his team actively worse. I don't know, because Reyna, in the last time he's played, he scored a goal. He created a ton.
Yeah.
So I don't know what Reyna is going to do, because in the last, what window was it? October? Had to have been October, where he scored in the first couple of minutes, and that was after the three of us debated for an entire show if Reyna should be on the roster or not. And then he scores in the first 3 minutes or whatever it was. So, yeah, no,
And assists. I think he assisted too. If not in that same match, I'm pretty sure.
No, I think Reyna would make us better. And Bronny brings up a good point. Would you rather have, though, a committed player who's going to give his 100% or a non-committed star? Sometimes the non-committed star is just a better player. Sometimes that just happens. And I think Reyna is a better player than Luna. Luna tries hard, don't get me wrong. I think Luna has more hard work. I think he has more intensity. I think he does all the off score sheet things much better than Reyna. But if I look at the last couple of games, Luna, I think, scored in the 5-1 thrashing against Uruguay, but I think that was late in the game. But the Mexico game scares the crap out of me when it comes to Luna. How do you disappear for an entire 90 minutes when you are the main guy on that team? How do you disappear for 90 minutes? Yeah. You don't touch the ball, period. Like, I get it, the roster's not there, but you disappeared for 90 whole minutes in a Gold Cup final against your arch rival. So that kind of scares me a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and not only did he disappear, but he made mistakes. He was blatantly out of position. Like, there were a couple of moments in that match against Mexico where it was like clearly Diego Luna was not where he was supposed to be. And so, he has disappeared in big moments. But, from the Gio part of the conversation, let's face it. In that debate that we had leading up to it, I believe my point was, what do we have to lose in trying him out? And does he lose the ability that he had to play the sport that he had 4 years ago? No, the only thing that was holding Gio Reyna back was the nepotism conversation. And that, to be frank with you, Ryan, that's something that's never going to leave Gio Reyna or anybody else that has a famous parent that plays in, or Sebastian Berhalter or anybody else that has a parent that has been a part of it before or played in it before. You are never going to escape that bag. The only thing that you can do is go out and provide results. And in the short windows that we saw Gio, during those windows that you had just mentioned, he performed and he did what he was supposed to do. Again, like what Ryan said, is Gio Reyna going to get us into the semis or get us a World Cup? No, it's not. That's not the conversation. But is he deserving of this playing time now? This is the moment for Gio, and I said this leading up to everything. This is his chance to finally redeem himself after what happened 4 years ago. Because just as much as he is responsible for what happened to himself, you also have to say that his dad was largely responsible for what happened as well, because he made the focus about his son in the midst of a World Cup, and all of that led to what happened. But now that Greg Berhalter isn't there, now that we've had 4 years go by, to say that he's learned his lesson, I would say so. I would say that probably feels like a big black eye on what his career has been and what he's done for the U.S. men's national team. So just because he's not as vocal, just because he's not as out there as Gio or as Diego Luna, it's because I think he realizes that U.S. men's national team fans feel a certain way about the kid. But that doesn't mean that he's lost the ability to play the sport or that he can't play it at a high level. Has he had a great club season? No, frankly, he's
never really had a good club season.
He's never really.
The only players that have good club seasons are Adams, and when healthy, Richards, McKennie. Pulisic really doesn't either. Pulisic goes in spurts. He's not consistent, but when he is on, he is on. But he disappears like he hasn't. I hope to God Pulisic can somehow grab a goal, or he needs to grab a goal against Senegal or Germany. Needs to get a goal. Yeah. Then he needs to. Yeah. He makes every team. He makes every team he's on worse with his attitude and laziness, says Alex. His Bundesliga team is pretty buns regardless of him being out there or not. So, I wouldn't say. Fabian, by the way, says, I laughed and the principal looked mean at me. Don't get yourself in trouble, Fabian. I know you're at an honor roll thing. Don't get yourself in trouble, man. But no, I don't know. It's when it comes to Reyna, I feel like he's gonna do more than Diego Luna. I really do. Because Luna, it's a great story. It's a great background. I like what he's all about. I like what he's all about. He even did the what was it? Where they have like the little kids and they have like an interview with the kid. He even did that thing too, and he got snubbed. I just feel with Luna that I just didn't think he was going to play. I don't think Zendejas is going to play either, unless we have barring an injury or something. But I don't see Luna. I don't see Reyna starting. Like, I think we're just picking at the smallest things just to complain about. Like that's just what I feel like at this point. But now our full focus should be what's the starting 11 going to be. I don't think Reyna, Luna, or Zendejas would even be a part of it. Who's the first couple guys off the bench? Maybe you could have had that conversation with them, but I still don't think those guys are coming off the bench first or second. So, that's just my point.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about the team as a whole. Have we improved since 2022? What are the expectations going into the World Cup?
Imagine Messi Jr., Ronaldo Jr. for Team USA in 2034 would be cinema. Yeah, it'd be insane.
It would be.
We probably still wouldn't make it past the round of 16, but it's okay.
Yeah, never underestimate this team's ability to disappoint you. We'll also talk about how Spain doesn't have any Real Madrid players for the first time ever on their World Cup roster. A little conspiracy there. People think maybe Yamal is behind it. More on that coming up next on the other side of this commercial break here on the National Soccer Network.
Experience the thrill of the game like never before with NSN's Game Rewind. Dive into full match commentaries enhanced with cutting-edge dynamic graphics, letting you relive the highs and lows of your favorite matches in astonishing detail. Whether it's a championship win or a legendary play, NSN Game Rewind bridges the past and future with a broadcast experience designed to captivate. Call 586-304-4405 and start watching today.
Inside the Game rolls along here on the National Soccer Network, 294 here on NN. Getting into the conversation on the 2026 World Cup roster. By the way, appreciate everybody dropping comments in today. Fabian, LeBron James Jr., everybody else that hops in the comments throughout
Alex
the course
has been
of
very
the week.
active. He says he's sick and tired of Nepo babies. I think everyone kind of is.
Yeah. I mean, whether that be in the sports world or just in life in general, that's the thing that sucks. Sometimes it pays to have a good last name. But Ryan, wrapping up our conversation on the U.S. men's national team, I know we want to talk about Spain a little bit, but before we get to that point, just ask the question, the general question overall: have we improved since 2022?
Yes, I think we have. So I got a couple of photos here from what the roster looked like back in 2022. Yeah, 2022. I was almost blanking on the year that they last played in the World Cup. So this is the goalkeepers and defenders from last year, or from 2022. Our goalkeepers were Ethan Horvath. I forgot about him. Sean Johnson, Matt Turner. He was an Arsenal player at the time. He did absolutely nothing for us in his time at Arsenal. But shout out our guy, Matt Turner, who now plays for New England Revolution. And then defenders, Cameron Carter-Vickers, who was a Scottish Premiership champion, Dave. I know you'll like that one. Serginho Dest, who was at Milan at the time. Aaron Long, Shaq Moore, Tim Ream, Anthony Robinson, Joe Scally, Yedlin, and Walker Zimmerman. Yedlin was the only player to ever play in a World Cup before that. I think 25 of the 26 were debuts. Then the midfield, we get to the midfielders and forwards. Aronson, Kelly Acosta, Tyler Adams, Luca Della Torre, Weston McKennie, Yunus Musa, Christian Roldan, and then forwards, Jesus Ferreira, Jordan Morris, Christian Pulisic, Reyna, Josh Sargent, Tim Weah, and Haji Wright. So then we fast forward to today, yesterday, rather. Goalkeeping situation, Chris Brady, who we saw close and personal at the DCFC game. Matt Freese, Matt Turner. Defenders, Arston, great hair, by the way. Alex Freeman, Mark McKenzie, Tim Ream, Richards, Jedi, Miles Robinson, Joe Scally, and also Scottish Premiership champion Austin Trusty. Also did nothing for Arsenal in his time there. Midfielders, Adams, Berhalter, McKennie, Roldan, Aronson, Reyna, Tillman, Weah, Zendejas, Adams also in there, forgot to mention him. Strikers, Balogun, Pepe, and Haji Wright. And Nate, looking at the rosters, yes, I would say we've improved since then. You're telling me we had a World Cup roster with Walker Zimmerman, Jordan Morris, Aaron Long, and Jesus Ferreira, and Kelly Acosta too? That was our World Cup roster. We've 100% improved since 2026. Honestly, I think if people just tampered their expectations with the U.S. men's national team and said round of 16, I think people would be very happy with the way the U.S. men's national team has been looking. I think people would be very happy with that. But this is the place where Americans have got to realize something. We're not good at a sport. I know it's weird. We're not good at a sport. We're not going to be in the Final Four or the championship game. We're not that good. But if we just tampered our expectations, I think people would be very happy with where this U.S. men's national team is at. Because you're telling me that's the roster from 2022, which had 8 outfield MLS players. Fast forward to this year, we now have 5 outfield MLS players. God bless you, by the way.
Thank you.
Has 5. I would say we've 100% improved. And then you see what McKennie, Adams, Richards, Pulisic, what Tim Weah, Malik Tillman, which, by the way, thank you, Malik Tillman, for sliding through Kai Havertz and giving us a PK in the Champions League. Appreciate it, my guy. See what those guys are doing for their clubs and in the Champions League and in the leagues. You'd be very happy with where it all is at. I thought in 2022 we were very young, and we still made the round of 16. Still got a point against England. Still got a point against Wales, which, Walker Zimmerman, why did you have to slide in like that? And we got a goal against Iran, sent us through. I think we've improved vastly since 2026. Now, the sideshows and all the stuff off the field, that's a different discussion. But I think when it comes to on the field, some of the results we've seen this past year in 2025, and 2026 has been kind of bad, but in 2025, I think we've got to be pretty impressed with it because there is a system in place where we can succeed in the World Cup, and that's 3 at the back. If you want to say 3-4-2-1, that's the formation. We can rock with that. We can say that for argument's sake. But we've got to be happy. I would say we've improved. We had to have improved.
You know, we live in an era and in a time in which results are expected like immediately. You know, where things have to happen.
Yeah, thanks, Kurt
now.
Signetti.
You know,
douchebag.
we don't really in society, just in general, and I'm just saying generally speaking, we don't let things marinate anymore. You know, time is not something that really anybody has, and that's why we always look at certain things and we're like, well, we need this to happen right now.
Yeah, thanks.
And
Kurt.
getting the U.S. men's national team to a place to where we can even conceivably, realistically be a top 10 club or a top 5 team in the world is something that I do think is conceivable, and with the amount of money and investment and everything that the USA Soccer has put into this, we can certainly get there. But it takes time. And if you were to ask me the question, what is the time frame? I can't really give that to you. But what I can do is exactly what we're doing right now, is comparing where we were in 2022 to what we have on this roster now here in 2026, right? Results aside, I think from an individual perspective and who we've added since that point, it is clear and obvious to me that we have gotten far better. In that we are, obviously the injuries have not nearly affected this team, but very defender heavy from what I saw in the roster reveal yesterday. And that was something that Taylor Twellman very much echoed yesterday. And we
Hopefully
have
means we're going to be set up the way we need to be set up. I'm hoping.
Right. And I think that realizing that this is the first home World Cup in 30 years, we have to be set up well in order to go toe-to-toe against these squads and make sure that we are defender heavy so that we can handle the storm that's coming our way. But just overall, Ryan, I would say like the goal expectancy from this club, if I were to take this team and play the 2022 team, I'd expect to win by at least a couple of goals. Like, I think head-to-head, we have 4 more years of seasoning. We have 4 more years of experience. We have a lot of those players who at the time maybe were not playing overseas, who are now playing overseas. We have gotten 4 more years under our belt. The only question is, again, because we always talk about talent versus camaraderie, and how do those two things play together? Does Poach have this team moving in a way that shows they are better than what they were in 2022? Because we know one thing, right? Mauricio Pochettino is a better manager than Greg Berhalter. You know what I mean? I love me some Greggy with his like plain tees he's got going on the sidelines at DCFC. I love it, man. I love the guy's swagger, cool Uncle Greg Berhalter. But we know that Mauricio Pochettino is a better manager than he is. Do they have the ability to move as one to show us that they have far distances, far from where they were in 2022? Because it is undoubtedly, and you can't tell me that we haven't gotten better on an individual basis. We absolutely have. We have not regressed. There's no way we've regressed. The results, though, maybe there has been some regression. And do they all move as one? That's what I'm saying.
What Greg was doing. Greg was
right.
We were just playing like CONCACAF. That was really it. But I mean, give Pochettino credit. I did forget to put this in there. I want to circle back to the Luna thing real quick. I would have been much better if we just left Luna and Zendejas off and we put in like a Julian Hall or a Kevin Sullivan. Where's my teenager? Where's my 17-year-old, 16-year-old, 18-year-old teenager that we could risk putting out there? And maybe we need a goal. Maybe we need an equalizer. And we put him out there. Julian Green almost did it back in 2014. Where is my teenager? Every nation does this. Every nation puts a team. If USA had Lamine Yamal at 16, we probably wouldn't have played him because we're stupid and we think we're the smartest guy in the room. Spain started a 16-year-old, and now look at Lamine Yamal now. Just saying, where is my teenager in all of this? I would have rather left Zendejas off. I could have been fine with Reyna being off. But where's my Kevin Sullivan? Where's my Xavier Gazzo? Where's my Julian Hall? Because here's another underrated thing about all of this. You get them cap tied. Now they can't. Now Julian Hall, he might go to Poland. Now that doesn't become a question anymore. That's not a debate. That's not a headache anymore. He doesn't play. Julian Green, why was he brought in? I know he didn't have the great career, but he was battling. It was between us and Germany. What did Jurgen Klinsmann do? You're going to come to the World Cup with us. If you turn out to be a stud, you're cap tied to us no matter what, because we put you in a World Cup at the age of 18. Why couldn't we have done that? Why could we have not have put again? I would have been completely fine. Reyna, Zendejas, Luna, if we left them off and we put in a Julian Hall or a Kevin Sullivan. I would have been fine with that. Would have been 100% fine with it, because Alex mentions it in the TikTok chat, which I think this is way more important. The formation is much more important than the 25th guy in the roster. 100%. So why not use that 25th guy on the roster? Instead of bringing in Alejandro Zendejas, why didn't we bring a teenager? Why would we have not done that? I'm just saying. Putting it out there. But back to the main discussion. Yes, we have improved.
Yeah. And or why wouldn't we bring in like an Aiden Morris? I mean, Aiden Morris has looked really good too. So he's not hurt right now, is he?
No, everyone was asking about Tessman. Tessman is hurt. So like,
no, Tessman's hurt. Yeah,
I know
knew
that.
Tessman was
Morris,
hurt.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he's more butthurt about them not getting promoted and wants to.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Aiden Morris just didn't get a look. I don't know.
Yeah.
I genuinely
just
do not know.
Look at the players that we've added since 22 too. I mean, Chris Richards. Like we had mentioned that Chris Richards is the backbone of this U.S. men's national team and the position that he plays and the impact that he has and what he's done at Crystal Palace. We add Malik Tillman, who was obviously another, we talk about the most important, impactful players from last summer for the U.S. men's national team. Tillman's on that list. Flo Balogun, we added to this 26 roster. He was not a part of the 22 roster, and I think it was because of injury. Maybe it was because of something else. I'm not sure.
He was on the 22 roster.
Flo was on the 22 roster? Really?
Yeah. Jordan Morris.
Or was he?
Tim Weah. Dude, I'm pretty sure he was. There had to have been. Ferreira, Morris, Pulisic, Reyna, Sargent, Tim Weah. Was he not?
I don't think he was, dude.
Dude, he had to have been. All right, let's see here.
Okay, we gotta confirm this. But either way, just to add those guys, automatically you're a step above where you were in 22. But no, from everything I saw, I don't think he was on the roster in 2022.
You know what? He wasn't a thing.
Maybe he got hurt.
I don't know. He wasn't hurt then. He was still technically an Arsenal player. He was on loan somewhere. He started becoming a name, and no, he was not on the World Cup roster. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I thought he was. Guess I'm wrong.
So
my
even
apologies,
then, we've
everyone.
had players make names for themselves in the 4 years since the last World Cup. So yes. Oh, and by the way, I think we're set up a lot better in terms of the group stage and everything else along those lines. So any leg up that this team could have gotten, I feel like they've gotten for the most part. But
that's crazy.
You want to get into the Spain conversation? Or you want to take a break really quick and come back and do that?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Take a break? Okay. Let's talk about Barcelona a little bit in their academy camps. Barca Academy is a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network and the official academy of FC Barcelona in the United States. Designed for boys and girls ages 6 to 18, Barca Academy camps follow and replicate the FC Barcelona game model. Same philosophy used by Barca's professional coaching staff. Right now, you can save $30 on registration by using promo code FCB30. Again, that's FCB30, or you can scan the QR code on your screen. Find a camp near you at fcbarcelona.us/camps.
In Barca camp, I sing my song Grown on and off of the field. Don't miss the time to register.
Sign up now for Barca Camp.
You are inside the game here on the National Soccer Network. Nate Wangler and Ryan Glinsky getting into our final topic here in the soccer portion of our convo. By the way, we'll be putting these clips up on social media, so make sure you follow us up there. I know Ryan has been getting into the live streaming stuff. Actually went live during the roster reveal yesterday, so appreciate all the people that hopped in on that. Good job on your end, Ryan, for bringing that to the folks live.
Yeah, we had over 50 people at one time. It's pretty sick.
It was pretty cool. And, I will say not only did they show up to the live, but they also showed up in person. I know I shared that video on social media of the line wrapping around the facility. They're the USA Soccer facility just to get in to hear the roster reveals. So I think it's important to remember that. I think there are a lot of
Dave,
U.S.
you
men's
missed it.
national team.
Don't worry, there's a Scottish Premiership champion on our U.S. men's national team roster from Celtic, Austin Trusty.
He's hoping his Scots can maybe go shock the world, man. And
they'll come home very soon.
Hey now, come on, man. We got to give some love to Dave, who drops in the comment section every single day, man. I think they'll be all right. I mean, they shocked a lot of people getting in, so I think I will say their kits are freaking cool though. Like that blue is sick. Like I out of all the ones that we put up on the screen and debuted before the World Cup, I love those. But anyways, a lot of support around the U.S. men's national team. Just cool to see people showing up. It's nice to see that people actually care. But let's get into this next topic. This is something that you put on here that I'm sure, there might be a conspiracy here, might not be, but Spain doesn't have any Real Madrid players for the first time ever on the World Cup roster. And you're saying that people think Lamine Yamal might be behind that. Is there any legs to this, Ryan?
So this one Fabian actually brought it to my attention about the whole Lamine Yamal side of things. But yeah, no. So this is the first time in Spanish national team history, ever, that they will not bring a Real Madrid player. It'd be like if the USA basketball team did not have a Lakers player or something. I feel like there's always
a
Celtics
a Lakers player or something.
I feel like there's always a Lakers or a Boston Celtic player. Always a Celtic player.
At least one.
Right. But no Dan Hoyson, even though he was rated the best center back in La Liga. He is Spanish, did not make it. Raul Asensio, he's trash. Danny Carvajal, who is the captain, but maybe him being the mole of everything, maybe that turned a lot of people off. Alvaro Correas, Fran Garcia, Danny Ceballos. He was part of the social experiment Arsenal team. And I think Gonzalo Garcia. So, yeah, there's potential about that. And then you look at some of the players that made it. Gavi, who played 12 games on the year, who plays for Barcelona. He made it on the roster. And then there's a player that Real Madrid sold for $5 million in Gonzalo Garcia. No, not Gonzalo Garcia. A player that they sold for $5 million made the roster. Real Madrid sold it. And then I think back, I'm like, okay, that might have some legs. And then I think Trent Alexander-Arnold didn't even make the England squad. I just think personally that I think that the Real Madrid club is just so toxic personally right now that no one wants anything to do with anything. By the way, the player that they sold for $5 million was Victor Munez. That's the player that sold for $5 million that they brought. I just don't think anyone wants to do anything with Real Madrid. I think they all want to stay away from Real Madrid players. I think that there is a little bit of toxicity that's going on. And I also think maybe Lamine Yamal has got a little bit of pull in terms of everything. Maybe he's got that. I know Bronny's not in here anymore, but I mean, maybe he's got that LeBron James pull where it's they went to him and it was who are the players that you want? You helped us bring a Euros championship when you were 16. And maybe he's I don't want any of these Real Madrid players. And Fabian and I were kind of talking back and forth during the chat there. Maybe this is going to help the rival. I mean, the rivalry's already appeared. Maybe it takes another step because Yamal didn't want to bring any Real Madrid players. Maybe they went to him. Maybe I'm reading into something that's not there at all. I may be completely wrong on all of this, but it's just something to think about. Maybe, just maybe, Lamine Yamal purposefully was nah, I'm not bringing any Real Madrid players. I want all Barcelona players.
You want to know what the one thing is that can completely derail a club in the World Cup? Drama. We saw this before. Not that the U.S. men's national team in 22 is equipped to make a World Cup run. We already talked about that. But you can argue in large part that one of the reasons why they fell down the stairs the way that they did had to do with drama. It is the one thing that can completely tear apart a locker room or a clubhouse or a dressing room, as we talk about. And I got to get my terminology right, but it's the one thing that could absolutely tear a club or a team or a nation down. And it's the one thing that if I am the manager of an international side, and I realize that this is an opportunity we only get once every 4 years. The one thing that I don't want to touch with a 10-foot pole is the Real Madrid dressing room.
Yeah.
I don't want anything to do with what has gone on in there, what's transpired, whether it be the fighting, whether it be the leech, whether it be the owner of the operation who has completely lost his cookies and completely lost his mind. It is a group that in a lot of ways you can tell that there are cancers in that clubhouse and in that dressing room that could absolutely affect this international team. So from a Spanish football perspective, keeping Lamine Yamal out of this conversation, if you're good enough to play and if you're good enough to contribute, you should, regardless of what club you're on, be able to make this roster. But something tells me that it has just gotten to such a certain extent in that dressing room that there's nothing that Spain wants to do with that group. Because listen, there are some countries, and the U.S. is like this, and in other sports. You got to think about like basketball. Yes, we have, we left Kawhi Leonard off of the last gold medal.
Jaylen Brown.
Like, we left Kawhi Leonard off of that team.
Well,
who
no,
arguably,
technically Kawhi was on it, and then he left. He was technically on it.
Okay.
But
anyways,
Kawhi Kawhi was like, yeah, I'm tired. I'm going home.
He wasn't there. Like Ant-Man wasn't on the team. Cat,
he was on the
Cat
he was
wasn't
on the team. Ant-Man was on the team.
Oh, Ant-Man was on the team. Cat wasn't on the team. Sorry.
No, he was not.
Like, there are other examples of top American players who did not make that team, and they did
Brunson.
just fine and won a gold medal. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and there are other examples there too.
Cade.
And they still won a gold medal.
Coming
Why?
off 24 wins. Cade
Yeah.
Cunningham.
Yeah. But, like, why? Like, Steve Kerr even said in these meetings with these guys, he goes, listen, not all of you are going to play. Like, there are guys that are not even here who very much deserve a spot here, but they're not here because they don't fit the same way. They don't play the same way. They don't have the same camaraderie everybody in this room does. Not every country can afford to do that. Not every country can afford to leave players off the table who would otherwise be the best player on any other roster in the world. Take me the number one player that's left off the roster in Spain and put him on the U.S. men's national team. Automatically, we're having a different conversation about, how good this roster is.
All of a sudden, we have Dan Hoyson?
Yes.
You're telling me we're going to have two elite center backs? Let's go. Well, I shouldn't
That's
say
where
Chris Richards
Spain
elite,
is.
but two playable
Yeah.
center backs.
Exactly. But that's where Spain is. So they can afford to do that. So, I can maybe partially buy into the idea that there's a conspiracy here and that they would let club affairs affect who they bring onto the roster. Because again, as Spain, you can maybe afford to leave a few players off and still be okay and still maybe go compete for a World Cup. So it's all up in the air. And again, digging and trying to like almost create something out of nothing. That's what we do. Like, that's why we're here. I don't know how legitimate it is that Lamine Yamal made those decisions, but if Spanish football said, listen, we want nothing to do with the circus that's going on at Real Madrid, I would not blame them one iota, one little bit.
And that's what I think it is. And Alex brings up another good quote in the TikTok chat. I'm not looking for the best players. I'm looking for the right ones. Herb Brooks.
Yes.
That's, Nate, despite he wears a Soviet Union jersey, even though he really loves that movie and team. So just putting it out there again. No, I think with
it's like you ever seen the double quotes where it's like Herb Brooks and then they quote it again and then they put it. Yeah, that's like Herb Brooks quote Mauricio Pochettino.
It's
like said it in a press conference.
It's like the Wayne Gretzky quote, but then Michael Scott puts it over. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, aka then Michael Scott doesn't. Yeah, no, it's
Michael
Scott. I think when you have that many superstars in a nation with just so much talent, I thought the basketball example was great. You're going to have players that are really good snubbed. Like, you could take the French national team, the players that did not make it, them, you could make the B team and they would probably still make a semifinal or quarterfinal.
Yeah.
Probably quarterfinal. Like, that is just where certain nations are at in their soccer development. I don't think people realize this yet, but we've been playing soccer for like 30 years in America. We've been playing soccer for 30 years. And other nations have been playing for like, I don't know, 100. we are well behind everyone because we didn't give a damn about the sport until the 90s. We didn't have a true league until the mid-90s. So that league's even new. Whereas the Premier League, La Liga, they're going on 100 years plus, I'm pretty sure. Like, it takes time to develop it. Like, if I'm looking at France, if I'm looking at Spain in terms of, like, basketball, the Spanish had the Gasols, and now they suck. Like, they had superstars in the NBA, and now the nation's horrible. Argentina, Manu Ginobili. You would think Argentina would be unbelievable at basketball because they had that superstar. And then that just goes by the wayside. That's why I still think Serbia, once Jokic leaves, nothing's going to happen of it because of they love so much about soccer. The difference in France is they have a lot of players coming. They have a lot of immigrants from Africa that come in that want to play other sports. Shout out Wemby, who I found out yesterday is actually Congolese, which is from the country of Congo. He comes from that descent. You're telling me Kylian Mbappe is French? He's from Cameroon. But when I look at this, when I look at expectations from this team, and when I look at the Spanish side, yeah, they have their expectations, win a damn World Cup. Our expectations, can you just make a quarterfinals? Maybe a round of 16? Could you do that for us? Like, they are way further in their soccer development, in their soccer history than we ever will. In Spain, they play pickup soccer in the streets. In America, we play pickup basketball and pickup football. We don't play pickup soccer a little bit, but more times than not, you're going to get a pickup basketball game than a pickup soccer game. So they have a right to be upset. Do I think Yamal really had anything to do with it? No. I just think the circus that was Real Madrid, no one wants to touch it. No one wants to be. The only reason Arda Güler is still there or is on our World Cup roster is because Turkey don't have anybody outside of him. So,
yeah, you don't have time for entitlement. You don't have time for drama. The World Cup is a sprint, and it is the deadliest sprint.
You lose one game, you're done.
Exactly. That are trying to establish themselves atop and if you need the right guys, you need the right fit. All of that matters. What I will say is that we have been playing soccer for longer in this country than we've been playing American football. The only issue is that we never prioritized it.
We didn't take it serious for like 50 years.
Exactly. And some of it is geographically speaking. I mean, again, you come from a place like the UK where it's half the size of Texas. Like, if you have, they've been playing soccer / football there for much longer, but it caught steam. And again, the reason why it's so romanticized is because it is in these neighborhoods and in these places. And to go to your biggest rival, you have to go 45 minutes down the road. It is all culturally speaking, they have prioritized it since the beginning. We only really started to pour money into this thing and really, really get all in on this about 30 years ago, as Ryan was talking about. And to expect us to get in the stretch of 30 years to the point to where we're going to be competing for a World Cup is just obscene when you consider what the rest of the world is doing. And again, I went on a radio show yesterday and I was completely expecting to talk about the World Cup at least a little bit, right? Because they invited me on, and I love the guys. Ben Bosher, shout out on the Huge Show, which is a great time.
Ben, okay, real quick, Ben. See, he had a take last week that really pissed me off, he was talking about the shirtless fans at the Tigers game.
Oh, the tarps
He's
off.
Like, that's the highlight of the game. Well, Ben, when the team's horrible in baseball, there's 162 damn games. Let's have some fun, man. The team's garbage. When college football teams suck and the fans are up in the nosebleeds, I don't have an issue with it, Ben. I get it. The team's bad. You had high expectations for them. But guess what? They suck. So, just saying, Ben. No fun, police.
It was the USL Championship. I believe I posted
the Tampa Bay Rowdies. The commentator did it. We don't have an issue with that.
Yeah, Jeff Attinella. Yeah. That was
Pat
McAfee
hilarious. Does it every college game day. I don't see an issue with it, Ben. Have fun.
Well, for Attinella too. No, I agree. And for Attinella, I mean, you can hear him like as he's deciding whether or not he should like take his shirt off and do this, he's like, yeah, my producer's telling me not to. I can like vividly see her shaking her head, but he's like, whatever. It takes it off, starts waving it around. I think it's great, man. I think we need more fun in sports. I think we need more people that live life without a tight back. Without that aren't all exactly. That aren't
Ben's up
yeah
here
exactly.
getting all mad and butthurt about dudes. Hey, maybe they have more gym progress than you, Ben. Maybe that's what he's upset about. I'm just kidding. I like Ben. Ben's got a lot of good takes and CMU dog as well. But no, you gotta have fun, man.
That's what I'm saying.
But
that's what I'm saying.
To your point, I would agree with that.
If sports isn't fun, why do we do it?
Like,
if sports isn't supposed to be fun, why do we do it? If I'm not here to have fun, why am I doing it?
People watch sports
you know what I mean?
Because it takes them away from everything. When you're at the
world sucks.
What?
Because the world sucks.
Oh,
that's
the
why
Tampa Bay Rowdies are number 1 in the East. DCFC is second. DCFC almost has the same amount of points as Detroit Tigers have wins. That's how bad we're getting here in terms of Detroit sports. But to your main point about the whole, I know what you're going to say about the whole, like you expected to talk soccer. You know how many times when I was young and Arsenal finally won their first FA Cup, I flipped on ESPN and Alex is a Guardians fan. Come on. We don't like Cleveland.
Well, y'all don't have one in like 76 years or whatever it is. So, I mean, if you get
they do
it
have
done,
a more recent championship, though. Cleveland does.
They do, yeah.
They do have the most recent championship. But when I was young, there were times where I wanted to flip on ESPN and just hoped that I could see like an EPL highlight. Like they would always have it at the bottom of the screen, like the score lines. But there was one time in my life where they put the Arsenal versus Hull City FA Cup highlights on it and on ESPN, and I was so happy. That's the only time. That was like 2014, I think, 14 or 13, that they showed a Premier League highlight, because they will show Premier League highlights if it's in top 10 plays. But man, was I just want. That's why That's my biggest. That's the thing I'm looking forward to the most when it comes to this World Cup. Not that the U.S. is going to go win a World Cup or anything. That's not where we're at. I just want to see the cultural impact that it's going to have on the world. In the U.S., I should say. What is the cultural impact going to be on the United States? Are we going to get more people playing it? Are we going to get maybe more businessmen and businesswomen that want to invest in teams, their local teams, maybe the USL teams, USL Championship teams? They get more investment from local people. And maybe Dan Gilbert's like, yeah, I want to invest in a USL Championship team. That'd be pretty cool. Like maybe there's more soccer coverage on ESPN and Fox and everything. I just want to see that. And obviously we're not going to know in terms of on the field for 5-10 years. We won't know that because that's too early to tell. Yep. But I want to know what the cultural impact this is going to bring. That's my biggest thing that I want from this World Cup. Again, we're not winning a World Cup. The crazy take coming from Ryan. Earth-shattering take. USA doesn't win World Cup. No, that's not the point. I just want to know the cultural impact where Nate goes on a radio show and it's like, so what did the U.S. men's national team do in this window? What impressed you? What did you not like? What did you like? What are we looking forward to next? Like, do you know how sweet that would be? I flip on 97, won the ticket, and then Mike Valenti's talking about the World Cup or talking about the U.S. men's national team. That'd be pretty badass, but I will become a Lamine Yamal fan when the Cleveland Browns win a Super Bowl. Damn, Fabian, damn. Chill on him.
All right.
Well, you're going to wait a long time for the Browns to win a Super Bowl. Same with the Lions. We didn't win one either.
I'm going to drop a line that I'm sure you've heard before. This year's our year. So it's your year, Fabian. It's going to happen. All right, just keep hoping.
Hey, they said that with Arsenal, and they said that with the Michigan Wolverines. And damn it, it already happened. They all happened. Football and basketball and Prem champs.
Well, it turns out they're going to give Deshaun Watson another chance. So hey, man, best of luck with everything you got going on there.
I like this comment from Alex. Gio Reyna is the Shedeur Sanders of soccer. He's got a dad that played. Dad kind of controlling stuff. Shedeur and Gio obviously not to the level of their parents, of their dads. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
see
Gio,
that.
I mean,
I can see that.
I
I
mean-
just don't think Reyna has the social media background and following as Shador has. To be honest, though, I don't even really think Gio Reyna didn't even cause all the commotion that happened in it was Claudio. Like, Reyna just told his dad that he was upset he wasn't playing, and Claudio was like, hold my beer. Let me unravel all of this. That's what happened. I don't even think it's Gio's fault.
Yeah.
I think it's his dad's
No.
fault in all of it. That's what the
Yeah.
issue is. And Shador
Helicopter.
wouldn't
Yeah.
to be fair, though, I don't even know if Shador would even be where he's at in the NFL if it weren't for his dad. So
No, helicopter parents are so effective and so good at completely derailing their kids' chances of doing anything. Like, this is why coaching or refereeing or umpiring, like, it's why no one wants to do it anymore. Rarely
that's a
it
good
has to do with the kid, as everything to do with the parents. I will say this about like Gio. We're probably not going to make this our Who to Betta segment this week between Gio Reyna and Sanders. But what I will say is that at least Gio has some hardware to his name. 3-time CONCACAF Nations League champ.
yeah,
21, 23, and
Shador ain't got no
24.
silverware.
Can't
Can't even win his bowl
also,
games.
Won a German Cup in the 2020-21 season.
He did. That's
yeah,
right.
He's got. That's what I'm saying. So my man's got at least 4 titles to his name. Whereas Shador
Perfect
Sanders, we celebrate him for. Shane Gillis, what did you say to him? We celebrate him because he went 500 and almost won the Alamo Bowl in college. So that's where that's why
he went
he's
like
at the
3-9
ESPYs.
and then like 9-4. I think is what his time in college. And he somehow got his jersey retired. Like, Travis Hunter makes sense because he won a Heisman, and I don't think Colorado has a Heisman. But
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Can Luna play for Mexico? I don't think he can technically play for Mexico anymore. I think he's already cap tied at this point. That's what I'm saying. We bring Julian Hall, and we don't have to worry about the Polish. I'm just saying. How many Pro Bowls did Gio Reyna make? 0. He has made 0 Pro Bowls. I think didn't Shador make it this year?
Did he make the Pro Bowl?
I think he
don't
did.
remember-
I think Shador has a Pro Bowl. I think he made it this year. He did. He did make in replacement for Drake
Wow.
May. Yeah, he did make it. So look at that.
My God.
Yes, Shador Sanders has more Pro Bowls than Gio Reyna. But has he ever won the CONCACAF
man.
Nations League?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Talk to me then, Shador.
Yeah, exactly. You ever played Mexico, Shador Sanders? Have fun with those slide tackles. Now, you're not tackle, but they're going to come after your
Yeah,
ankles,
you're not
so.
a quarterback, so you don't get the benefit of the doubt when you get hit.
Oh, that would be a funny discussion. Could any U.S. men's national team players play football? It'd probably be kicker or punter. Like, I don't see anyone else playing any other position. But
it'd have to be a field player.
Mm,
You'd
Okay.
have to be a field player. I mean, I feel like McKinney could. I feel like McKinney's tough enough.
McKinney could. Yeah, he's quick.
He's got a
How
bigger
tall is
build.
He ain't very tall, though. I feel like
I
tall
mean-
matters a little bit more in football than, I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know.
I mean, there's
But
Daryl Sproles was like 5'3".
that's fair. That's fair. No, you
McKinney's
make a
6'1".
good point there.
He could
Oh,
be,
he's 6. Oh, okay. Yeah, easily.
He
Okay.
could be what? Like I don't know the average height.
He could be a wide out. Yeah.
Could be.
Easily be a wide out or a defensive back. I mean, the truth is that I'm sure he's probably quick in terms of flipping his hips and
Put him at QB.
You know,
Kyler Murray made
running
it.
in reverse. And that's, hey, you make a fair point. But let's take a quick break here on the show. When we come back, a couple of potential trade packages for the Detroit Pistons. We're talking about some contract
Ooh,
extensions,
Haji Wright.
and
I like that
Orion
one
had
too. Haji Wright's tall.
that.
I'll give you
Yeah,
that one,
he
Alex.
is. Or who else am I thinking of?
Christian
Anyways, we'll
Pulisic.
get back to it. Not Christian Pulisic. No,
No,
that was
Pulisic
actually
we
the
get
last
eaten
one
alive.
that I was thinking of. Well, we'll talk about potential Piston trade packages on the other side. Also, the Knicks. Do they stand a chance in the finals?
no.
If they win, New York may burn down. Like the whole city may burn down. Also, we'll talk a little bit about the Tigers at the very end, since we're enjoying this session, this complaining session we got going on. But first, Man City Soccer Camps are a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network, bringing world-class training inspired by Man City's global football philosophy to players across the United States. Open to boys and girls of all skill levels, these camps focus on technical development, decision-making, and playing the game the City way. Right now, you can save $30 on registration by using promo code MCNSN30 or scan the QR code on your screen. Find a camp near you at usacamps.mancity.com. Inside the Game, back live here on the National Soccer Network, 294, as we continue along, getting into our all sports talk here before question of the day at the very end. Ryan, I think people know that we're Detroit based at this point. They really can't ignore that fact. I know we are the National Soccer Network, but we talk a lot about Detroit sports. And between Kyrie, PG-13, Kawhi, the question now becomes in the offseason for the Pistons after what happened in the playoffs this year, who is that next three-level scoring option outside of Cade Cunningham? Who was the next playmaker that we can get on this team who can actually create buckets to maybe get this team over the top? Because we looked at Jalen Duren. My guy couldn't play in the playoffs. He was completely lost. We look at Asar Thompson. A lot of great tools. All NBA first team. Not really a guy who can create his own shots most times. A couple of potential trade packages. Who are you looking at the most in terms of what this team can do to kind of restructure things in the offseason?
So I do have the proposals from ESPN. I'll get you to who I want the most, but Fabian has been asking me to ask you this question. So Fabian thinks, what if Gio Reyna and Diego Luna had to do a celebrity fist fight for the last spot in Team USA? Would that bring in seats? Would people watch?
Yeah, I think absolutely they would.
I would watch it.
Yeah, especially with an American audience who loves violence. Yes. By the way, I'm taking Diego Luna 99 times out of 100.
Yeah, probably.
You know,
I think everyone would.
Yeah.
And then he says the winner of Reyna versus Luna would have to be the goon for Team USA, just like the Hanson brothers. Yeah, probably. I mean, I would probably take Diego Luna in all of that. But yeah, no, anyway, these are just a couple. There's two proposals from ESPN, and here is the first one that involves. I kind of like this one. It says Detroit brings PG-13 to the 313. I kind of like that. I like the name, not the actual trade, but I like the name. So the Pistons would get Paul George and a future first-round pick. The Sixers would get Beef Stew, Duncan Robinson, Karis LeVert. I mean, I'm not mad at the players who would give up, but I don't want to spend 3 more years of Paul George and like $40 million plus for a player that's 36 years old. I personally would rather stay away from Paul George, but that's just me.
Paul George has a lot of injury issues. He's had a long, scattered history when it comes to the injuries. And listen, PG is not who he used to be. And the thing is that this Pistons franchise, it historically speaking, has been one it used to be like Lions quarterbacks. Now it's just like anybody that plays for the Pistons, I swear later on in their career, it's like where careers go to die. It's like at the very end of their career. And it started with Allen Iverson. And ever since that point, it has just been, if you want to play out your final year, whatever it is, come here. But they're trash. They're not good. And I think PG he's past his prime. He's not the player he used to be. To hook yourself onto that bandwagon for the next handful of years and have him be the second option for Cade Cunningham, I mean, if he gets hurt, we're right back to where we were. Now, I don't dislike the players that we're giving up, but no, PG is not who he used to be. I mean, I know like MPJ is a weird dude, but I think he would be far greater than whatever Paul George or some of the other that I think you're going to recommend, because I believe we're looking at the same article right now. But no, man, Paul George is not what he used to be. That would be a really hard sell for me. Yeah, especially for a couple of years to rely on that.
I should have rephrased. It's 2 more years he has left. After this one is a player option in 2027, making $54 million next year, $56 million after that. I would just rather stay away from Paul George. There is a reason why this trade proposal, and if we were to trade for Paul George, there's a first-round pick attached with Paul George. They are paying you. They are literally trading him and also giving you draft capital on top of that because they don't want you. That's the first red flag in this whole trade. Now, if we were to give up Duncan Robinson, Karis LeVert, Beef Stew, not really mad at that whole situation. But I mean, if this was like 4 years ago, yeah, maybe I would probably, want Paul George.
Yes.
But now at the age of 36, he'd be 37, 38. No, I do not want any Paul George sniffing this team at all. Not mad at the players giving up at all. Right. But, I mean, the Sixers have a pretty good young core with Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey in the backcourt. This one, Pistons getting Kyrie Irving, Beef Stew, Karis LeVert, Ron Holland, and this year's first-round pick, which is 2021. Kyrie Irving did tear his ACL in March of 2025. He's currently 34 years old. He does have 2 years left, that second year being a player option. He was making $42 million a year currently. But yeah, no, that is Kyrie Irving. But you take Kyrie.
You know what really I see kind of hurt certain NBA teams who try to put, like, I'm trying to think of, like, let's think of like the Brooklyn Nets, right? Remember that whole iteration of the Nets where you had James Harden and Kevin Durant on the same team, and we all thought that was going to be like the ticket to the top. They had Kyrie on that team too. You want to know why that didn't work out? Because everybody is so ball dominant. KD is ball dominant. He wants to be the one to take the shot. Kyrie is ball dominant. He wants to be the one to take the shot. Then you have James Harden, who's just out there playing for himself, Mr. Kick the legs out and just shoot from wherever. So you have 3 ball dominant players who don't work well together. And then it becomes a me fest. And then what happens? Nothing happens. They flame out of the playoffs. And then James Harden's like, I got to find a new home. And then Kevin Durant hops off the boat. And then Kyrie goes to Dallas. That team, despite the overall level of talent, when you put 2 type A's and 2 ball dominant players in the same room, sometimes that doesn't really work out. And if you were to put Kyrie on this Pistons team, is he okay being the second option? Is he okay being a non-ball dominant player and a guy that just gets open? Or does he take Cade's place? And does Cade become more of a shooting guard and more of a get him open type player? No, these are 2 ball dominant type prototypes. And you're not going to get Kyrie to drop the ego for long enough to be like, hey, yeah, I'll just be a spot-up shooter, or I'll just be a guy who can play off of Cade Cunningham. Like, no, man, I've been in the NBA. I've won an NBA championship. I played with Bron. I'm not going to be the second. I'm going to be the guy if you go out and get someone like Kyrie. And we talk about ego. That's an issue. That, as much as I love the kind of player Kyrie is, that is also an issue. That's my only concern when it comes to this. Like ACLs don't scare me. Like I said, ACLs, whatever. Like, obviously he's getting older. He's still Kyrie Irving. The type of player he is, though, I don't know if that would mesh well with Cade Cunningham. I'm not convinced of that. I don't know. What do you think?
I like it.
Really?
I like it.
Okay.
He's played because there's a handful of reasons. this Nets Pistons team, that's just apples and oranges because there's only one other ball dominant player, and that's Cade. What did everyone complain about with Cade Cunningham in the playoffs? Turnovers. He was blitzed all the time. 100% he was. But you bring a primary ball handler with Kyrie Irving that can go get a basket, you're not blitzing Cade in the fourth quarter anymore. Cade can now be one-on-one. And Cade, with his size, his length, getting by everyone, he could do that. Kyrie, he's a bucket getter because you have to now accommodate for both players, Kyrie and
so
Cade.
you think Cade would be willing to take a back seat and be the guy who's not
Kyrie
on the ball?
If Kyrie and Luka can work together, Cade and Kyrie could work together. 100%. Kyrie and Luka went to the finals together. I think Cade and Kyrie would work together because everything that... Look, the Pistons have got to get Cade Cunningham less responsibility. They need to get him less because he can't deal with the load that he's taking anymore. He's blitzed. He's tired. By round 2, we saw he was gassed. We saw all that. I would love for Kyrie Irving to be on this team. Now, if everyone wants to talk about the egos and what he did with Boston, yeah, we can maybe have that discussion. That definitely plays a part in it, but I think he's matured since then. Right. It's like, been 10 years since that happened? But Kyrie, who's been to the finals, I think 4 or 5 times now up to this point, 1-1, hit the shot to beat the Warriors in 2016. Look, I think Kyrie's a bucket getter. I've always liked Kyrie. I said if Kyrie Irving wasn't a total douchebag and weird, I think he'd be one of the better point guards of all time. His ball handling, he's knocking down shots, getting to the rim. It's unbelievable. The only thing that questions me is health and would he gel with everyone? I think he would because Kyrie's at the end of his career anyway. I think he wants to get another ring. And what am I giving up? A first-round pick this year? Not that big of a deal. Ron Holland, he can't shoot. Ron Holland didn't even play minutes in the playoffs. Ron Holland, see ya. Karis LeVert, see ya. Beef stew. It doesn't really matter to me, to be honest with you. But Kyrie solves everything we are saying about Cade. That solves everything. Taking the ball out of his hand, being able to give Cade one-on-one instead of getting blitzed, someone to go create his own shot, get your own basket, knock down three-pointers. He's also a good distributor. He can create shots for Duncan Robinson. And look, that's going to space the floor too. I liked it. I really like it. And again, it's 1 year, 2 years. Again, I have someone else in mind that I would much rather have than Kyrie, but I like Kyrie. I like Kyrie Irving being on this Pistons team because even if he hates it here, he's gone after year 1 because he has a player option, and he would probably not take the player option if he absolutely hates it here. If it's an absolute disaster, he's gone after 1 year. But I love Kyrie Irving coming to the Pistons. I think it would be a great fit.
I think I know exactly where you're going on this next one. And I would happen to agree with you that I think that he would be the better option in terms of fitting on this team. But I see what you mean, especially with the Luka and Kyrie example that you worked in there.
And Luka's a bigger crybaby and bigger ego than Cade Cunningham. I think Cade is out there for the vibes. Cade just hanging out with the boys. He just likes hanging out with the fellas. And
That's true.
If you're scared about disrupting everything, they won 60 games last year. But LeVert, Beef Stew, and Ron Holland, I could care less for losing all 3 of them and the first round.
I would rather win less games and be more competitive in the playoffs.
Exactly, that's the point. And this brings me up. This brings you up to the third one. And again, I don't think there's a trade proposal here in ESPN.
Yeah.
But I would rather have Kawhi Leonard on this team. I would much rather have Kawhi, and here's why. I know I bitch and moan about load management. But when it comes to the Pistons, everyone on this team, we saw what they're able to do because they try hard. They try much harder than everyone else. So they're going to win 50-plus games. So if you're probably looking at Kawhi, you're probably giving up 1-2 first-rounders. You're probably giving up, let's just say for argument's sake, in this hypothetical, they give up Beef Stew, Karis LeVert, Ron Holland. We'll say 2 first-rounders, maybe 1, whatever it is. We'll say for this hypothetical. Because Kawhi Leonard is Mr. Load Management. If I'm JB, I go, Kawhi, play like 30, 40 games this year. You can do all your other stuff. We just need you for the playoffs because we're going to get 50 wins without you. Or I guess if he's playing that, we're going to get 30 wins without you. We're still going to win 50-plus games this year. We are still going to be a top 3 seed in the East. I would prefer the 1 or 2. But we need you specifically for the playoffs. And Kawhi would probably be completely fine with it. It's Kawhi Leonard. He don't care about nothing, really. He just wants to wants to play. So for 1 year, we do what the Raptors did. Just for 1 year. We already have a superstar in place. We have part of it. We have a dominant center down low. Asar Thompson's going to D up. But you put Kawhi on this team. Maybe it moves. Maybe you could. Obviously, you probably lose Tobias Harris. Maybe it moves Asar to the bench. Maybe. But I would much rather have Kawhi on this team simply because he's load management. He's happy with it. This team can win without him in the regular season. And by playoff time, hey, Kawhi, it's time to lock in. We need you. That's why I would rather have Kawhi on this team because he can get a basket. Space is the floor. You can relieve pressure from Cade. But I would much rather have Kawhi. And that's why.
There is really only one player that in the prime of LeBron's career that he absolutely had nightmares about, and it was Kawhi Leonard, the Claw, especially during his time at San Antonio. We're talking about one of the better all-time defenders in the history of the NBA. I mean, Kawhi is that guy who can hang with an Evan Mobley, who can hang with the best player that you throw his way, someone that was dynamic like a Wagner, like a Banchero, someone that would have given cement feet Jalen Duren issues. Yeah, we can talk about the scoring impact that someone like Kawhi Leonard has, but where Kawhi has made his money in the NBA and developed his reputation in the NBA is being the guy who has the biggest, strongest hands and is one of the more physical players that we've seen in league history. And that impact helped Toronto get over the hump and get that NBA
I've never
championship.
seen LeBron take a free throw, look over, Kawhi Leonard checks in, and all you see, he goes, damn. I've never seen that. I've never seen any NBA player do that. That was, I think, the last NBA Finals he played with the Heat, but looks over, damn.
Yeah. And so, and we said all year long, like, what did we say? Even coming into the playoffs, we're like, the fact that Vegas does not have the Pistons as one of the teams as a favorite to go out and potentially win it is disrespectful because look at their defensive rating. Look at how good they were on defense all regular season. Then what happens in the postseason? It falls apart. Absolutely falls apart. Why? Because teams are trying. Because everybody's trying now, and the stars are coming out to play. You want someone who can give this defense a spark in the moments where it matters in the postseason and score on all 3 levels? And just be a good all-around player, an iso ball player if you need him to be, especially in clutch moments. Kawhi Leonard is all that. And again, asking the question of what we're giving up to get him, yes, all that and then some. And even if it is a couple of first-round picks, this is your chance to get over the hump. But so, yes, absolutely.
And the thing is we don't you don't have to pay Asar Thompson now. You don't have to pay him, so you can afford that. You can let Tobias walk. Karis LeVert should go anyway. That clears up $14 million. I think he's got a team option. Mm-hmm. So I don't see that. But I think this Kawhi is mine. I would much rather have Kawhi. I would not mind Kyrie though. PG, get out of here. I don't want that. Fabian, I know we're gonna move on to another topic here in a second. Fabian thinks the Knicks are gonna win it all. That's crazy. But Fabian's got some crazy ideas right now. He thinks that we should give Pep Guardiola, just give him all the money he wants in the world to become the U.S. men's national team manager. But he wants to think, what do you think of Pep Guardiola becoming the U.S. men's national team manager and trying to fix this thing?
I mean, I don't really think, I mean, yeah, the manager matters a little bit, but also, I mean, we always go back to the fact that, like, again, Pep Guardiola is used to managing the best players in the world. We don't have that here in the United States. Like being a manager of the U.S. men's national team.
Shout out Monty Williams.
I get that, but does that change the results? I mean, like, there's so much more involved. I feel like when you talk about all of those components, like Mauricio Pochettino did really good in the Prem too. Like he's won a lot of matches. He's been at the height. So
been in Champions League final.
Yeah, I imagine it would be much in the same. So, you know, I think managers matter, but like, let's not pretend like Pep didn't have some of the best players in the world available to him year after year. I mean, like, just because I put Steve Kerr in Washington coaching the Wizards doesn't mean that they're going to start turning around winning games. So, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really affect anything, in my personal opinion. Maybe you feel differently, but I don't think that really changes much.
No, I think with Pep, I think the most important. I think the most important thing with bringing in
Maybe the development component.
yes, that's exactly what I'm getting into. Is the development.
Yeah.
Let's get the academies right. Let's get the youth game right. That's all that truly matters. Is if we can get the pyramid in place. Because like the pyramid is kind of like it's like a castle. It's like it goes up and then it goes away and then it like comes back and then eventually it closes, but like there's a whole bunch of like different routes. No, it's not a heart, but like it's just like a castle. It's like all over the place. So like that's what I'm seeing there. But as long as if the reason I would want Pep is to A, set a standard with the men's national team, and two, to get the development right. Because obviously you can only control what you can control in terms of your player pool.
Yeah.
Like you can only it's not like you can go into I think what is it? I don't think you can go into the downtown Chicago and somehow persuade a kid instead of playing football and basketball to play soccer. Like you can't really do that. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's mainly the reason you would have Pep, but that's just me.
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, I don't want to be disrespectful and say like lipstick on a pig or like racing stripe on a minivan, but like that's what it kind of gives off. But again, I already said this about Pep when it came to Man City. Like development is the other side of things, and you know that's why I think it really offends a lot of American soccer personnel when we say that, hey, if our best athletes were to play soccer, we would.
I gave you that starting 11. That's a
yeah,
World Cup
I mean,
winner
like,
right there.
It's true, but like, you know, access to playing the sport also matters a lot. Listen, I know I wanted to mention the Tigers here at the very end. We don't have to get into all that. That's fine. I know we only got 14 minutes left in the show here. I do want to quickly work this in just since Fabian did talk about it. Very entertaining video from a New York native I saw over the weekend warning of what the finals would look like for the Knicks after 27 years away. By the way, last time they made it, social media was only, 2 years old? I think the last time that they made the NBA Finals. So we're going to see some things happening over the course of the next week or so that we've never seen before because, again, social media was brand new at that point. So the celebrations, the craziness. New York is the most wild city on the face of the planet, and that's part of the reason why I want to go. Just to see the people, also to see just how big the rats are in the subway station. Because man, those things are like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Donatello. That's the rat guy, right? From Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Is it
No,
Donatello?
Donatello's a turtle.
Right? Oh, he is a turtle. Who's the big rat guy? Who's the rat?
I don't know. Because it's Michelangelo, it's Donatello, Raphael, and there's one other.
Oh,
one.
Master Splinter. That's what it is.
Yeah, you wanna see Master
I want to go see
Splinter?
Master Splinter in New York. But this same guy said that if they win the NBA Finals, like Fabian and anybody else, if you're in New York, just stay where you are. Stay in your house.
Go
You
New
buy
York, go New
groceries,
York, go New York.
buy water, buy whatever you need to survive for the next however long. Because it's gonna be like the Purge in New York if they end up winning the NBA Finals. Because again, they have not done so since Phil Jackson himself was on the team and they were wearing short shorts in the 70s.
We saw them winning a playoff series does. Imagine what it would be to actually win the whole damn thing. But I don't see them standing a chance. I know all the Knicks fans got mad at me yesterday, but I don't see you guys winning at all. I don't.
But am I about to cheer for a New York team in a championship though? Is that about to happen? Because if OKC makes the finals, I may as well just cheer for the TV to blow up because I don't know what to do at this point anymore.
See, I would much rather see New York cry. That's mainly what I would rather see. Because maybe since my team's been winning so much this spring, maybe I have to have a team that I don't want win something. It's like Michigan winning a national championship and Ohio State wins it the next year. Maybe that's just what has to happen. But when I look at the game, I don't hate Shea as much as everyone else does. I find it annoying. But I mean, I like some of the other players on the team. I like J-Dub. I like Alex Caruso. Jared McCain is just a meme to me. So, like, I don't like Chet. I think he's soft. But Fabian's got tickets to the finals already. How much did you pay for that? 'Cause I saw someone pay for, like, 2 courtside tickets. It was like $500,000 for 2 courtside tickets. I saw someone do that. And how many did you have to pay for the tickets, and where are you sitting? But I just would much rather see them cry because, look, I think the Thunder and the Spurs just have so much size all over the place, and there's so much depth. And I think the starting 5 from the Knicks is going to win them a game or two. But I think with the depth and just the waves that the Thunder and the Spurs can come after you, I mean, I just see that just being too much and overwhelming for the Knicks. And I think also with all the sideshows that are going to be with the Knicks, like, oh my God, Timothy Chalamet is a Fat Joe. We got J-Lo. We got Beyonce. We got all these people here. And it's like, I mean, there's just going to be so many sidebars and so much going on. It's going to be the biggest show probably in American sports history. But I just think when it comes down to it in the basketball, I just think that the Thunder or the Spurs are going to take care of it because they've got so much size. They got so much depth. And, yeah, that's what I think.
Spike Lee's been on a good run lately. Tell you what, man, that dude's having some fun. Let's get into question of the day, though.
Yeah, he's got the Gunners, and hopefully they win a Champions League final here. More on that tomorrow in terms of the Champions League. But Salt Athletic brought to you by, or question of the day brought to you by Salt Athletic. Jeez. Make sure you scan the QR code on your screen. Visit saltathletic.com today. Save 15% off by using code NSN15 to save 15% off the #1 smell-proof cleat bag that 100% works. God dang. That was horrible. I saw this yesterday from former Arsenal fan himself, Ryan Hammer. He posed the question, would you rather have Victor Wembanyama or the next 5 #1 overall picks? So basically, you are getting AJ DeBonsta and the next 4 #1 overall picks. By the way, real quick before we get into that, Fabian's a season ticket holder, so he sits center court mid-level, put on eBay with a reserve price of $2,000 each. He has 4 tickets, so he will be going to the finals, it looks like. But the main question, would you have the next 5 #1s or Victor Wembanyama?
It's kind of concerning how little I have to think about this. Like, I feel like this would take a little bit more consideration and thought from my end to be like, you know what? Maybe. No. Give me Victor Wembanyama. We have not seen the full potential of Wemby yet. And that's what's scariest about all this. Like, they're 2 wins away from going to an NBA Finals, and we have not seen Wemby.
They're down. They're down 3-2.
We have not seen him hit his peak yet. And that is what is scariest about all this. He's a couple of years into the league. He's just now starting to figure it out. Everybody that is anybody, I mean, you literally have to, and we've seen Hartenstein do this all series long. There is no way of defending Wemby without giving him cheap shots and really hoping that the referees just kind of swallow their whistle, because they're not going to be as lenient with a guy who's a head and shoulders taller than everybody else on the floor. But we have not seen the skill set. We've seen the skill set, but combined with the size, there's a reason why. There are a couple of athletes in existence right now that I would categorize in a level above human. And I don't know what that level is. It's not quite alien because they were born here. Like, we have their birthright, we have their birth certificates. We know that they're actually human beings. But it's Shohei Ohtani and it's Victor Wembanyama. And we have not seen the best from Wemby yet. And you think about, the next 5 years. Well, if I have Wemby for 5 years, think of all the different things I can do to build a team around a player like that. Like, that is what you are hoping for as an organization to get, is a player like Wemby, so that the next however many years you can hold on to him. Everything you do as an operation is to build around that one centerpiece. And you know what kills me the most? The Pistons had the worst record in the NBA before the lottery to potentially get Victor Wembanyama, and we didn't get him because the NBA is rigged, and they wanted him to go to San Antonio because they realize that it is a dormant dynasty that they wanted to give another all-world big man to and get them back into the conversation, because when the Spurs are good, the NBA is better, okay? I'll admit it. I am jealous of the Spurs, much like I'm jealous of the Heat. Like, there is just they're two organizations that
The Heat
always
have been
make the
in no
playoffs,
man's land,
always
though,
make runs.
for like 5 years.
I know, I get it. But they made the finals with a bunch of G Leaguers. Like, I don't know. That was pretty fun to watch. But what I will say is that, no, I would take Wemby 999 times out of 1,000. And to think, if we had him this year with Cade and everything, yeah. So no, I'll take Wemby. I'll take Wemby.
Couple things coming in from Fabian. I would make a team with 5 picks and can trade and make more money and have players. 5 picks is more than one player. One player can't really carry a team. Ask LeBron, LOL. 4 and 6. If I'm being honest, I'm taking the 5 picks because here's why. Wemby, I don't know about his health. I think there's a level of softness to his game as well. I think he's a whiner as well. Wemby, as crazy as he is, I think there's a level of softness in his game. There's certain times where he goes up to the rim and I'm like, dude, you've got to just dunk it over him. Like, why are you trying to lay it up and be finesse? Just, dude, you're 7'10". Just dunk it on him. And I'm looking at the 5 picks. I think he brings up a good point. If I don't like anyone as the number 1 overall pick, I can trade that pick, right? I can trade it. But then if I'm looking at if I can't trade the picks, I don't think there was a rule of trading or not trading the picks. I like my options with 5 number 1 overall picks. I get to create a super team for like a decade plus. And yeah, there may be a bust rate. There could 100% be a bust.
This feels like a Thunder versus the Spurs conversation, because how did the Thunder build this? By being bad for so long and by stacking draft picks.
Did they draft Jalen Williams though? And did they draft? Because I know they drafted Chet because they traded for Shea, because I think that was the Paul George trade. I know that.
But building up capital to build a contender. That's what I meant. Like, they were just so bad for so long that they finally had all the capital to actually build a team like this. So that was more the point.
They got both Jalen Williams and Chet in the same draft. Remember they drafted Josh Giddey? Remember they did that?
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
So, and then they still have more draft picks this upcoming years. So I would take the picks. I would take the picks over Wemby. I get it. Wemby's an unbelievable talent, but the whole health thing scares the crap out of me, because I just don't believe someone at that size can move it that way for so long. I feel like there's going to be issues with that. And I think there's a level of softness to Wemby's game that no one really is talking about. And I think there is. And I think the Thunder are getting under his skin based off yesterday. Dudes are just walking to the bench and Wemby's just going in shoulders into people. I think there's a level of maturity as well that's got to go with Wemby. And I think he's got to grow up a little bit. I think with Wemby, he's got to grow up just a tad bit.
I will say, though, at least for good organizations in the NBA, teams are built through free agency. If you can capitalize on free agency, I think put yourself in a much better position than I think. Like, the draft doesn't mean nearly as much, I feel like, in the NBA than some of the other major sports.
If you can build a couple of pieces, like if you can build like the foundation through the draft and then hit in free agency and maybe hit like in a couple of 3-and-D late first rounders, second rounders. But yeah, I agree with you. It feels like in every NBA like team, where if you can hit on 1 draft pick, 2 draft picks to be like your foundation, and if you can bring in someone via trade or via free agency, that's how a lot of teams are truly built. Like, you look at the Warriors, they drafted everyone. Obviously, KD was signed. You look at the Heat, you brought in Bosh and LeBron, but Dwayne Wade was drafted there. You think of the Thunder, you drafted Chet, you drafted Jalen Williams, but you traded for Shea and brought in a couple other players via free agency like Hartenstein and Caruso. So, yes, I would agree. I would agree to an extent, but if you can land that foundation of draft picks, I think you're set up for success.
Who was drafted after Victor Wembanyama?
I think Scoot.
I'm trying to remember.
Pretty sure Scoot Henderson.
Brandon Miller.
Brandon Miller? That was that draft? Which draft was Scoot?
It was that draft. I don't remember. All I remember is I Thankfully, I didn't have a podcast at the time because I was talking about how Wemby, I wasn't sure how he would pan out in the NBA because he's just, quote, too tall and too
Oh, it was
gangly,
okay. Scoot
you know?
was that draft. Okay, Scoot was third
Okay.
because it went
All right.
Wemby, Brandon Miller, Scoot, the Thompson twins, and then Anthony Black.
Yes. Okay.
Jet Howard was a first. Jet Howard and Kobe Buffkin were lottery picks. Man, that's a horrible draft. Yeah, other than that, they're really Marcus Sasser was also in that draft. Yeah, there's really nobody else in that draft unless there was someone in round 2. Yeah, no, that draft sucked.
Well, let's just
Amani
hope
Bates was
the
picked to the
Spurs-
Cavs in the second round.
Ah, there you go. That's a good one. That's funny. But that'll wrap up episode 294 here on Inside the Game. Again, our thanks to everybody who joins us here on the show. Still up in the air on whether or not we will have a show on Friday. Ryan will not be here. But again, still planning on doing those USL2, USLW matches of the week coming up on Saturday. But for today, that'll wrap up 294. Catch 295 coming up tomorrow. Getting ever so closer to episode number 300 right here on Inside the Game.